Bend the knee!
Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Don Willie coming at you again in the Kingswood with another subscriber request, this time from actually two subscribers, Kyle Foster and Alicia Kingston. And we're going to be talking about the man with the golden hand, Sir Jaime Lannister. So, Jaime Lannister, for all intents and purposes, is kind of a spoiled, rich kid, pompous, arrogant, used to getting his way, son of Tywin Lannister, twin to Cersei Lannister, older brother of Tyrion Lannister, and father to Cersei's Baratheon kids. I mean, even though they have the Baratheon name, they actually are Lannisters. And this is a very complicated character. When we first meet him, he's a pompous, arrogant knight who's used to getting his way and beating people in battle, unforcing people in tournaments, etc., etc. And he thinks he's unbeatable. But the biggest blemish on this man's record to date is him killing the Mad King Aerys, which earned him the name Kingslayer. What most people don't know is that he actually had a good reason for killing Aerys, and we'll get to that in a moment. In Season 1, Episode 1, and early in the book, A Game of Thrones, he is caught by Bran Stark having sex with his sister, the Queen, and as a way of trying to cover up this incestuous relationship, he pushes Brandon Stark out of a window in the hopes that the boy will die. And when he doesn't, it's not that he is necessarily nervous, but he's kind of like, well, you know what, look, if he talks, I'll kill him, and I'll kill anybody else who tries to get in our way, because he doesn't want to stop the love affair that he's having with Cersei. As many people don't like his brother Tyrion. He loves his little brother. That is his family, and he's been the only one that stuck up for him. So when Tyrion is taken captive by Catelyn Stark along the King's Road, he basically starts a war for Tyrion. He challenges Ned Stark, injures him, and then later goes off to Casterly Rock, grabs his father, and thus the War of the Five Kings begins from there. He's later captured by Robb Stark's men and is held captive for a time until he's released by Catelyn Stark, and with the assistance of Brienne of Tarth, he is supposed to be escorted back to King's Landing in exchange for Arya and Sansa Stark. He never makes it. He is recaptured by Roose Bolton's men, and because of his arrogant ways and his reputation, and just to knock him down a peg, they go ahead and chop off his sword hand, which is one very defining feature of Jaime Lannister, because again, he is a skilled fighter who is known for using his right hand. This starts a downward spiral for him. He's obviously depressed because not only did he lose a hand, but he lost the hand that has helped him to win so many physical contests. We learn from here, when he has talk with Brienne, how he got the name Kingslayer, but more so the reason why that name really shouldn't be valid. Now, at the end of Robert's rebellion, when Robert and his forces were, en route to sack the city, Aerys finds out, calls Pyromancer, tells him basically to burn down the city, and he tells Jaime, bring me your father's head. So Jaime, like, hey, that ain't happening. and kills Pyromancer, kills Ares, and pretty much saves all of King's Landing. But basically, because he didn't get the chance to tell his side of the story, he has gotten this reputation as just a guy who, when things were looking rough, he just went and killed his king. And him being a member of the Kingsguard, strictly a no-no. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the whole thing, how the Kingsguard works, you are assigned to the Kingsguard. You give up any claim on lands and titles. You also give up the right to have any heirs. It's pretty much like the Crown's version of the Night's Watch, except you are swearing allegiance directly to the king and the king's family. Jaime has walked around for the better part of 20 years with this stain upon his reputation as being the Kingslayer. And I'm pretty sure that's a tough thing for any person to live through. People mocking you behind your back because, let's be honest, somebody was going to actually say that to his face, right? Not only that, but, the terrible things that he actually has done that, I guess, I don't know if they warrant scorn, but, definitely the Bran Stark thing would warrant scorn from anyone of the heart. So we see him trying, his best to redeem himself, and it's funny because, I started reading the books after season 3, right? And to have a character like him is somebody who I absolutely couldn't stand, to go from, somebody that you absolutely hate to somebody that I was like, wow, you know what? I actually kind of like this guy. It's very conflicting because I remember seeing the scene where he got his hand cut off and think, good lord, that's rough. But then he goes on to save Brienne multiple times. After the death of Joffrey, when he's at King's Landing, Tywin gives him the freshly forged Valyrian steel blade. It's like, look, I made a promise to Catelyn Stark that I would return her daughters home safely to her, and even though Catelyn was dead, he still was like, you know what, look, we got to try to do something. I want to try to make good on this. He gives Brienne his sword and sends her on to complete his mission. And unfortunately, he also has, this crazy relationship with his sister, an incestuous one that they've had ever since their teens, and she was part of the reason why he actually joined the Kingsguard in the first place. Tywin was the hand at one point to Aerys Targaryen, and when they went to the capital, she persuaded Jaime to ask to be joined into the Kingsguard so that they could be together, not knowing that Tywin was going to quit and go back to Castle Rock, leaving Jaime in the capital without her. So, and then there's the whole issue with the kids. He's got 3 kids that he can't be a father to, because pretty much, listen, people would probably literally crucify him, Cersei, and the kids because of that whole thing if they had absolute, 100% confirmation of that fact. And who knows, that might even start another big war as well for the crown, because if they're not the rightful heirs, then, who are? Later on, Jaime finds out about Cersei basically sleeping around with anything with a white cloak, and he's conflicted about that whole situation because basically while he's been faithful to her, she hasn't been faithful to him at all. And it's, like I said, this is a very, very complicated character and a complicated situation. And truthfully speaking, I'm probably going to need to do a retrospective on Jaime once his story arc has ended, just to see exactly where it is that he ended up. Will he go back to being the person that he was before, or has he truly become a changed man? We see glimpses of his former self, but also he knows that he's not the same guy that he was before he lost pretty much what was his most important possession to him, that being the sword hand. And now with basically his family in ruins, and also the possibility of another full-scale war with what Cersei has done to the capital, with the Tyrell Alliance, and also the Faith Militant, we have no idea what is in store for this man and how that will affect him in the long run. And hopefully he won't go back to being the guy he was before, but I doubt that he ever really could. I'll be back with some more on Jaime at a later date. It might be a couple of years before you actually get that video, but hey, come on, some things are worth it. Anyway, thanks again to Kyle Foster and Alicia Kingston for suggesting this video. And you guys already know the deal. Rate, comment, subscribe, share, tell your friends, come back for more, and leave me some suggestions on characters you might want to see. All that other good stuff. That's been my time. Don Willie. I'm out.